In this video, we are revisiting our first trip ever to Belize. We took this trip back in 2023. The original video we cut together is a shorter highlight version, which is also available on our channel, link below in the description. When we filmed all this footage, we had no intention of doing this type of video. We didn't do any talking on camera, so we're going to narrate this entire video to give you some context as to what we were doing. We had never been to Belize before, but thanks to Shalane's exhaustive research, we had a great time.
Our trip began in San Francisco. The 8-hour red-eye flight left at about 11 p.m. and took us through Florida, where we had a short layover. Once in Belize, we went through customs and boarded a much smaller plane that would take us to San Pedro. We really enjoyed flying aboard these smaller planes as they fly at low altitude, giving us breathtaking views. Once on the ground in San Pedro is just a short golf cart ride to our hotel, the Victoria House Resort and Spa. With a long travel time, we had been awake for nearly 18 hours. We were ready for bed. But it was Thursday, and Thursday is when the locals host an event called the Chicken Drop. It was our only chance to see it on this trip, so we rallied through the exhaustion. If you don't know, the Chicken Drop is sort of a game. On the ground is a larger grid of squares with numbers in each square. Participants can buy tickets with numbers corresponding to the numbers in the grid, kind of like Keno. Then a volunteer takes the chicken and after properly blessing it, lets it loose on the grid. Eventually, the chicken will poop. If it poops on the square you placed your bet on, you win.
Drop that chicken in the ring, ladies and gentlemen. The second round is on the way. $100 Belize in money. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, that shit is over. And the lucky shitty number is 8. 8 is the lucky shitty number. Do we got ourselves a lucky shitty winner?
The next day, we enjoyed a food tour. We made a reservation with a company called Belize Food Tours. Over the course of about 3 hours, we sampled native food and beverages and learned about the culture and history. We ended the day with a little bar hopping, including a brief stop at Truck Stop. This popular spot has a really cool atmosphere, but the food was a bit unimpressive. We then discovered what would become our favorite spot, Palapa Bar. It was just a really chill bar/restaurant, live music, strong drinks, and good food. Day 3 was our busiest day of the trip. Not only was it Shalane's birthday, but we had a big excursion planned. The day started fairly early. We had to catch a 6:15 airplane on San Pedro to the mainland, where we'd be meeting our guide who would be taking us on our tour. We hopped into his van and we started to make the journey to our first stop. Our path took us across the Mopan River, where you use this hand crank ferry to cross. It was kind of cool. I got to actually do the crank. It looks a little easier than it actually was. It's a bit of a workout.
I want to use my weekend.
We made it to our first stop, the Xunantunich Mayan ruins. Shortly after arriving, we were greeted by a spider monkey making his way across the grounds. These ancient structures are located in western Belize near Guatemala. We spent a lot of time walking around, climbing, and exploring this fascinating site while learning a bit of its history. As an added bonus, our guide showed us how to fish for tarantulas. Not sure I'll ever really need that skill. After exploring the ruins, we jumped back in the van and headed to the Nohoch Caves Branch Archaeological Preserve. We took a short hike through the jungle and learned about some of the local plants and trees. Then we were taken on a guided cave tubing tour. These caves were considered a holy place known as the Mayan underworld. The stunning views on the outside gave way to a different kind of beauty on the inside. There is no source of light in here, but thanks to our provided headlamps and cell phone flashlights, we were able to see amazing rock formations created over the centuries. For a moment, we turned off our lights and floated slowly through pitch blackness. We were encouraged to sample the water dripping from the ceiling. It was believed by the Mayan people that this water came from the Tree of Life and had healing powers. I wouldn't say it was the best water I ever tasted, but it was pretty good. At this point, my camera began to fail. I think humidity had gotten into the lenses of my camera and began to fog it up real bad. And for the remainder of the trip, anything shot with my phone looked like garbage. After exiting the caves, we were carried slowly by the river's current back to the preserve's entrance, surrounded by dense jungle. After a very long day of exploring, we headed back to the airport, jumped onto a plane, and flew back to San Pedro.
Feeling a bit tired from the previous day, we put our plans to visit Secret Beach on hold and decided to just hang out at our hotel. We played some cornhole, laid out in the sun, and enjoyed a few cocktails and some bites to eat. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and we were feeling refreshed, so we decided to go to the Palapa bar to catch the game. We enjoyed live music while waiting for the game to begin. We had some food and a few too many drinks, as we barely made it to halftime. We returned to the hotel a bit early and crashed. We booked a catamaran excursion for day 5. We boarded the boat at the Palapa bar and left at 11 a.m. Our first stop was the Belize Barrier Reef, the world's second largest barrier reef. Here we snorkeled among fish and eagle rays and sea turtles. We were instructed not to touch the wildlife, but one of the turtles was determined to touch Joe. It was at this point I realized the screen on my phone was dead. It had overheated. Even though the phone worked, there was no way to use it. From the reef, we cruised to a local preserve where we got in the water and swam with a bunch of nurse sharks. After that, we enjoyed a beautiful sunset cruise on the way back to Palapa, where we hung out and had a few drinks before retiring back to the hotel.
On our last full day in Belize, we rented a golf cart and headed to Secret Beach. As you can tell, the footage is just ruined by my camera, and without Shalane's camera there, this is the best we could do. Up until this point, Palapa was our favorite bar, but I think the Blue Bayou might have stolen that honor. Here you actually sit at tables in the water. Thanks to the barrier reef, there's no surf here, so it's calm. And we're being served food and drinks while we just hung out in the water, surrounded by fish and amazing views. Looking back now, we probably should have done Secret Beach earlier in the week so we could come back and do it again while we were still there. But this being our last day, we only got to do it the one time.
Sadly, it was time to go home. We checked out of the hotel around 11 a.m., and for the next 12 hours, we would take a series of planes that would see us back in San Francisco late that night. Aside from our cell phone disasters, the trip was amazing. We loved it so much that we would return to Belize a couple years later. We'll cover that trip in another video. Thanks so much for watching.